Today, we'll talk about what happens to women when they reach a brick wall, and acknowledge that they must alter their behavior. Women realize they have had their fill of fun when they reach a certain age and that they will soon reach their breaking point. You will hear them mention that at that point, well, I'm trying to make peace with myself and reestablish my relationship with God. I'd like to act respectfully at all times. I'm done being a woman who sells pleasure, and this time the guy has to earn it. All of that said, I want to fly straight. We were supposed to come to the conclusion that she had reached the end of her journey of self-discovery at that point and demand our forgiveness. We're going to be gracious to her because she's being gracious to herself, unless you're able to do it while she's doing it. Then you, sir, are obviously the issue. When ladies are between the ages of 29 and 31, that's when you'll hear this kind of conversation. The woman might consider when that occurs. Oh, I'm no longer into the typical bad boys. While I was a college student, so insane was I. I accomplished so much, and it's all now captured on video, including the Cancun foam cannon celebration. But I'm not like that anymore. I won't proceed with caution, responsibility, or decency. Similar to the decent woman I am today, I'm now more valuable than I was back then. I am priceless. I'm no longer only useful for the camera as I once was. Now I'm a respectable, God-fearing woman. All of those men are in the past. I've had my notch count reset. Regarding psychology, personality is made up of three parts: id, ego, and superego. The id is told by the ego. We are 29 at the moment, so we can't really do what we used to. We need to consider the future because we aren't as attractive as we once were. We're approaching the wall but not quite striking it. To satisfy the id's craving for attractive guys, we need to start preparing because we can see it happening. Given that we might not have enough money, or that it might just be an emotional problem, we need to start considering our long-term security. The id responds in return. No, we will have fun because we want to. We want it back to where we were. There looks to be a fight going on. It looks like a struggle between two conflicting personalities. The ego is the one who aspires to moral behavior, and the id is the one who genuinely wants to fly straight. In an effort to prepare, it assumes that they won't be as hot as they'd like, either when they are 33 or when they are 23. This is how the inner monologue will proceed. I want a gorgeous, intriguing, and fun person. You must, however, truly rock my world and lay pipe unlike anyone else. Then the ego says no. Therefore, the transitional period is crucial for women. When she is 28 or 29 years old, she enters this period. And into her 30s, a crucial phase. Why do I say that then? Well, since if you compare the 30-year mark for women to the 23-year mark, you can see why. You'll see that SMV in women begins to diminish around the age of 23. And by the time they turn 30, their situation is practically at rock bottom. They are aware that they are the last in line. This has also been supported by research. A 30-year-old lady must consider the future for her own safety. You can also see that for ladies today if you look at her. The first marriage is often between 28 and 29 years old. For men, it takes about 2 more years. At the moment, it is around 30 or 31 in the United States. However, it's no coincidence that at that point, just as things begin to shift, the average age of the first marriage starts to rise. How practical is it for women? When you've had all the fun you want to have and are about to hit rock bottom, make amends to God and society before you start over. Women are hunting for a guy at that time, thus they need to fly straight. Time for the villains to take on the fathers, the interesting men they previously enjoyed themselves with. Then there are the somewhat uninteresting, financially secure men who can father their children. It's merely something to consider. They spend the following 7 years in paradise with their Chads ad Tyrones when they are 23, at which point they believe they are the world's queens, but as soon as they are inches away from the wall, the works are released, and they entirely alter their outlook on life. And when they are 29 years old, the panic truly begins. It is undeniably difficult for women at this period of transition because they are aware that their role is almost finished, and they won't ever have the same level of enjoyment as they had during the past few years. Enjoy when they go to a club and every guy falls head over heels for them. That cannot be theirs. A lady in her mid-30s can wear as little or as much clothing as she likes, and nobody will notice. Contrasted to a woman in her early 20s who is in her peak. At that age, they are actually at the SMV peak. The irony is that these ladies will say things like, "Oh, I would have never partied in my 20s. I would tell every female to be God-fearing and keep away from the bad lads, because they are bad news," when they are older and overhear you talking about this stuff. And you can guarantee that they'll accept Tyrone's or Chad's invitation to go out the next day. There are some things that apply to all women. I'll reiterate this. It's something I always tell the boys. With an overspend, people live paycheck to paycheck and carry so much emotional baggage that they are no longer able to connect as a couple. They use antidepressants along with other acceptable medicines like alcohol and tobacco. When women are struggling to locate a man who genuinely wants to be their partner when they are in their mid-30s and early 40s. However, this does not suggest that men do not pay attention to them. Some men will lust after any available woman, whatever kind they may be. The more children and marriages she has, the more macho she becomes. If I had to sum up the thoughts of the other women, I would say that ideology wins out over biology. They make fun of men, demonize them, and treat them with complete contempt. Here are some more details in case they still require them. Was a time when women had over 10 personal partners. Little more than a last-ditch attempt, they want to wed a man. Bonding between pairs is quite difficult, and studies suggest that she likely has genetic material from multiple men. Modern women made every effort to own the essence of power and captured it. They believed that climbing the corporate ladder until they were in their 40s would make them happy. However, it was a little late to realize, because they naturally felt a responsibility to support established families, had a good mothering instinct and a love bond with males. They can't even admit that they should have gone the traditional road and lived in line with their feminine nature, now that they have been saturated with feminist doctrine. Men must avoid being awkward while negotiating the minefield of being expected to start all conversations, while being overly outgoing and irrationally confident, when attempting to avoid making a woman uncomfortable because of your distinctive features. Yet most young guys do not make the kind of money that the majority of women desire. Living your own life while constantly on the lookout for someone's fleeting interest is difficult. Somebody is actively looking for any red flag to use as an excuse to leave you. I think there's a tendency in today's society to minimize how difficult dating is for young males. To give your support, click the thumbs up button. Please leave a comment below if you would like to see more videos like this one. Be sure to give it to the guys who are in the most precarious need of it.